So hello, my name's Rob, this is Cattle Rabbit Scale Model Studios, and recently I've been painting up Traitor Guardsman kill team, and I've been adding these little red stripes to their heraldry, and I was recently asked how I do them. Without much thought, I kind of do just freehand them in now, but probably when I was starting off in the hobby, it was something I found quite difficult to get straight, and just to know where to start. So this video is going to be a fairly quick one, but it is designed to give people a little bit of help with things like this, and maybe just encourage them to kind of add these little details. Now, it's not hard to do, but it can be a little bit time consuming. Here I've got a shield from the Trench Sweeper, I believe he's called, and I'm going to add a little red stripe just here. Now, a lot of these steps are going to be optional. You will be able to skip some sections. Half the battle with adding little details like this, I find, is knowing when to put them in. So as you can see here, I've completed some parts of the shield, but I haven't completed like the 8-point star chaos emblem, because I'm going to be painting over that mostly. Now, Castellan Green is my base coat, which I'm using for everything, but what I am going to do is I'm actually going to put my red stripe in using Deathworld Forest, which is just a little bit lighter than Castellan Green, but still on that same spectrum. The reason why I do this is because if I need to tidy it up at any point, I can paint over quite easily with Castellan Green. Then I'm going to come in with my stripe colours. I'm going to be doing a red one. It's a bit inconsequential what colours I'm using, because yours will probably be different. But to show you, to begin with, I am going to use Deathworld Forest. Obviously, if you are a lot comfortable and you do just want to jump straight into, your actual colour, then you can still use this method. This is what I like to call a bit of a safety net for those that maybe aren't a little bit sure. So all I'm roughly going to do is I've got a bit of nicely thinned Deathworld Forest on my brush, and using the model as a bit of a guide, I'm just going to run a very thin line down the shield. I'm not being particularly neat or anything like this at the point. All I will say is, looking at the model itself, you realise that it's got, we can use parts of this model as a marker. So as you can see, at the top here, we've got this kind of thing that he looks through. So we can actually space out our stripe a little bit. So what I do is I just thicken it up, and all I do is I build out that initial line. Then all I do is just roughly run my brush down. Don't worry about making it perfect. We can always neaten it up. You can always completely cover it and come back in with, your base colour if you wanted to. But once again, do just be kind of wary that if you've already completed sections, it can be a bit of an effort to tidy those sections back up. So that's why I always recommend doing it on the base coat stage of things. But all I'm doing is just kind of, every time, I'm just using my brush as a little bit of a guide. I'm just running it down, and here I'm lining it up roughly with the edges, the bevel of the actual shield itself. Then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep filling it in and filling it out until I've got a stripe that I'm happy with. Now, obviously, if you've skipped this step, this is now where you would have done your first colour. So this bit won't be as useful, shall we say. But now what I'm going to do is, because I'm quite happy with how everything looks, a little bit of tidy up here and there, just using Castellan Green. Once again, this is why I really like doing it this way. I know it's not always doable, or you're not always able to do it this way, but it definitely does help. And it just gives you that safety net of knowing that, if you make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to get a good solid base colour. For this I'm using Mephiston Red. This is a great red, covers really, really well. And then I'm just going to very carefully just paint over the light green. And that's really there is to this method. As you can see, I've now filled in the stripe, but I am going to brighten it up a little bit more by using some Evil Sun Scarlet. Once again, a really, really nice bright red, but similar type of application. I'm just going to very carefully go through it. As you can see here, I probably wasn't happy with my stripe, so I'm just taking this opportunity just to build out one of the stripes to make sure the thickness is consistent. By doing all these extra steps, it gives yourself a lot of breathing room to kind of tidy these lines up. Here, I'm I'm actually using the Evil Sun Scarlet, as you can see. And that's all there is to it, really. Just take your time, know when to apply the stripe is, I guess, one of the key factors here. But it is a great way of adding detail to miniatures and just breaking up any flat panels. I'm just going to complete this now, and I'll show you when I've completed actually all of the shield. There we are. That's the shield complete. As you can see, I've given it a little bit of an edge highlight just on the very fine bits with a bit of Wild Rider Red, I believe it is, just to kind of make it stand out a little bit. And then I've completed all the silver parts on top of that, just taking my time and being careful. But once again, that's all there is to it. I do hope this helps. Any questions, if you've got any comments, anything you'd like to see me tackle in future videos, I'm always more than happy to put my spin on things and just show you how I would do it. So just let us know in the comments below. It's a quick one this week. I've been feeling a bit rough, but I'll be back next week with some beefy videos. That's all from me. God bless and take care.